talk to you about storing dies and getting those organised. So in the past I stored all of my dies in a box that looked like this, and basically had a few of the big dies and just a few of the thinner dies and just a whole little bunch of things from the Cuttlebug, but I had a really small amount of dies, and so they were happy to just store in a box like this. Now, because of their size, I'm happy to keep these ones where they are, but I've since purchased quite a few more dies, and you can see here this is just part of my collection, and so it's starting to grow, and so having them in boxes is probably not as practical space-wise. So I started putting them into these containers, and I could store some this way and have 2 stacks of them. There's a fair bit of room in this particular container, and I have a couple of these containers full. What I found though by storing them in these containers, particularly for the dies that I used regularly and took out of the packet, I was generally pretty bad at putting them back inside the packet, and also the fact that they come loose all the time. So often enough what you'll find is these dies, when you buy them, will have double-sided sticky tape that's meant to hold them into place, but I actually found that they either didn't hold them into place very well, so your dies ended up loose everywhere, or they held them into place too well and you had to actually really peel the dies off to get them off the double-sided tape. And as you can see here, this double-sided tape has actually lifted off the cardboard because I've had to really pull the dies off to get them off time and time again. And they'll come, you know, usually in a packet like that with the moulded plastic, but over time, you know, it's really hard to get the dies back into the moulded plastic as well, so that can be a bit challenging as well. So I recently purchased these Kaisercraft dies, and one of the things that I really like about them, if I just pull one of these out of the packet, is that they come with their own magnetic strip. So there's a piece, like a magnet inside that helps hold the dies into place. So they do have the double-sided tape, and it is quite sticky as well, and I'm considering pulling that off and just using the magnet, but it stops the dies from moving about, and I think that that's really a great idea. So then I started looking into purchasing some magnets for my other dies that didn't come with the magnets themselves, and I found that they're really, really expensive. I found a packet at Officeworks, and I think they're around about the $10 mark for 4 A4 sheets, and I also found them online, but again, quite expensive. You know, you're looking at least $20, and you know, for 10 sheets, and you had to pay for postage as well. So I really didn't want to be spending a lot of money on storage solutions, because I like to spend my money on craft supplies. So I can't think of the name of the channel, but I asked a question to a YouTuber, and I'll include a link to her channel below, about what she was using in one of her videos to store her dies, and she said that she used the magnetic L&P plates that we have, and I had heard that they weren't magnetic enough, like, so they didn't hold well, and I asked her how she found them, and she said she found them quite good. So I thought that that might be a great way to store my dies, and I actually really think that they work quite well. So they're not, you know, going to adhere really strongly, but enough to just hold it into place and to stop it from actually falling in, you know, in the container and making a mess everywhere. So I thought that it worked quite well. I just picked up 1 packet to start with, so I got 2 in a packet, and they were $2, so $1 per sheet, and I find that they worked really well. So I'm just going to show you my version of what I do with them, depending on the dies. So you can see that these were originally all stuck here, like so, on the double-sided tape, but as soon as they bend or warp, they lift off, and then they were inside the bag, but really a pain to get inside the bag because they lift up, they get caught on the bag all the time. So what I've done is converted them into these. So you still get the picture on the back in this case for the Kizaz dies. there's the type of die that it is in a little sticker on the back. So I didn't want to lose any of that, and I'll show you the others in a little while. But when it comes to actually making these magnets, basically this is the P plate. And all I did was grab some of the super tacky double-sided tape. I'm sure you could use normal double-sided tape, but I just thought that the super tacky would be a better option because it would really make sure that it stayed in place. And so the P plate is actually wider than the actual cardboard, so I want it to be the width of the cardboard. So I measured the double-sided tape against the width of the cardboard, and then I'm just going to choose one side and I'm going to adhere that onto where the actual P is, because it's the black side that I want showing. So then I can use that one as a guide and then adhere this one down as well. You could use like a permanent adhesive as well, I guess, but I was just worried that using any kind of wet glue, because this is such a glossy surface, may not stick it down well. So we're going to go with lining it up on this edge, leaving the top and the bottom as is. And then we've got this little overhang, and so I'm just going to go along with my scissors and trim off the overhang. And I'll try not to cut the cardboard while I'm at it. And I'm going to keep that because that's a fair strip of magnet, and I'm thinking maybe if I do Christmas cards with photos in it this year, I might be able to stick some of this magnet onto the back of the photo. So it's got multi-purpose. And then what we do is just lay our dies back onto our mat. That one's got a little bend in it. It's a trick with those wafer thin dies, try not to get them bent. If your cutting plate is slightly bent, then that tends to happen. And now that they're actually stuck down all the way around the edge, they're much easier to put into the bags. I don't think you would need them in the bags, but I've decided I'm going to try giving the bags another go with this method, just to keep them all nice and neat. So much neater than having loose dies floating around everywhere. So I'll just pop those to the side. Now, similar concept with these other sort of, I've got some American Craft dies here. So these are Amy Tangerine ones. These are the Chamel ones. I just wanted to show you what they look like when you buy them. I haven't opened this pack yet, so I'm not going to do this to this pack until I've actually opened it. So I'll just pop that to the side. But a similar concept with this. So just going to pull all of those off. See that the tape is really sticky on this one and has almost like destroyed the cardboard. Okay, I'll grab myself another P plate. So each die set will cost you $1. If you've got smaller die sets, you'll be able to fit multiples on there. And then again, just exactly the same process. I'm going to measure the width of the cardboard that I'm going to stick it to, and then I'm going to adhere that to the top and adhere that to the bottom. Now I'm using quite a broad, I'd say, let me just see if I can check, maybe 1.2 or 12 millimeters thickness of the double or width of the adhesive, but I did do it with the 6mm one as well, so you don't have to have the super thick one to do it. And then I'm just going to also cover up most of that mess that's been made from the adhesive that I've torn up. Just try and line that up. Got to try and line it up really well, because once you stick it down, it's not coming back up with the sticky adhesive. Okay. Now there's not quite as big an edge on this one, so if you didn't want to keep it, you could just throw it out as well. Okay, so just adhering that down, making sure it's nice and flat. Now because this is really messy, I'm also going to trim the bottom bit off. I'm not really worried about losing the bit at the back that talks about American Crafts. So just trim that all the way off, just to give it some neatness, and then we can put all of our dies back on the mat. just put that on there, and it doesn't really matter if it's arranged the way that it was previously, as long as they all fit and they all stick down really well. And then I'm also going to get a bag. So I have these bags. I had these bags. Here they are, that I use to put my cards in when I made them to protect them. And these are kind of the perfect size also to fit these dies in. So I tend to keep even the bags that I get from sticker sheets and things like that, because sometimes it won't be a standard shape and you might need something a little bit bigger. But in this case, these bags work perfectly, and I've got myself a die set there that's going to stay in place. It's not going to be messy, and then I can use these containers to stack all of those, and then I can have the other American Crafts ones on that side, nice and neat, and then I know exactly where to go to find my dies. And yeah, so I'm really happy with this storage solution, and I'll definitely be converting all of my dies to this in future. I am doing it at the moment for my, I guess, definitely my Kazaz ones, but also for these ones that do come in that moulded plastic. I'm just going to show you some of the others that I've done as well. So I decided to, in this one, I cut the top off, but now I think I'm going to keep the top. Just that one there is Maggie Holmes' open book, so it actually tells you what it is on the back, so I thought that was fine. And then this one is Amy Tangerine stitched, but it didn't actually have the name on the packaging anywhere, so I've just added that to the bottom, and I'll also do that for this one as well. Just write the collection that it belongs to across the bottom here somewhere, so that I know which collection it belongs to. So that's my die storage. I'm really happy with this process. I do have a bunch of other Nestabilities ones that I'm going to do a similar thing where I'll cut the P-plate to fit there, and I also have a few smaller dies as well. So I've got these sort of style dies that are quite small in size. That one's that size, and I think what I'll do is probably do a whole sheet of the dies that go together, and another perfect example of that will be these Heidi Swap word dies, so I'll scripted words. So I'll be doing another video on how I pull those together, because they don't have anything to kind of stick to it, so you can see what it is at a glance. So I will show you in another video in the future how I'm going to work with these ones. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more organisation videos. I've definitely got more coming because I've been rearranging my craft space. So I do apologise that this video is late. I missed last weekend's Getting Organised video, but I am busy trying to really get some good organisation happening in my craft space, so hopefully I can share all of those with you in the future. Thanks again for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.